Hey, what's up, guys? In this week's video, I'm going to answer a question from a viewer, and that's, can a road officer join SWAT and become a SWAT medic? So I'm going to assume that the term SWAT medic that you are referring to is actually a paramedic that is assigned on a SWAT team and is doing paramedic level care, right? So there's a lot to unpack there, so let's get to it, right? So first off, so let's say yes, absolutely. Guy can go from the road, he can go to the SWAT gauntlet, the tryouts of school, go on a team and then say, hey, I want to be the SWAT medic, right? So assuming that we're talking about being a paramedic, you'd have to first start with going to EMT school. So you go to EMT school, that's about 4 months at a college or maybe less at some accelerated private place. And then you graduate from that, and then it's not like you're working on an ambulance or rescue. You're not out there touching patients. All you did was your clinicals and whatever you did at EMT. Then you can jump into paramedic school, right? But paramedic school is going to be another 2 years. So 2 years of school, if you go to some private place, maybe you get it for around, at about a year or so. And then you get out after you've done your clinicals, your ride times, all your specialties, and then you sit for the National Registry or your state paramedic certification. And then what? You are a paper medic, what I call. You have a certificate and that's it, right? So my question to you is, does your department have a medical director? Because you can't just go and do paramedic level care on people without being under a medical director. You have to work under a medical director to intubate, to give medications, to do IVs, to crike, all those things that are what we're saying a SWAT medic does. You have to do it under some authority or under some medical director, right? So that's your other challenge is, do you have a medical director? Does your police department have a medical director? Okay, and then there is the big elephant in the room. You got all that, you got the medical director, and now you're out there, and medicine, much like shooting and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and all kinds of other things, is a diminishing skill, right? It's a perishable skill. So you have to be doing it. And you running calls as a cop, responding to, even if you're super proactive and you're out there and you hear the calls and you go, I'm going to jump that call. I hear, somebody's hurt. I'm going to go. How much care are you actually going to do? Because fire rescue is going to show up and they're going to take over. Sure, can you get there and apply a tourniquet on? But you don't need to be a medic for that. So we need to get past that. But that higher level medical treatment that you're going to give as a paramedic, you're not going to be out there doing, right? So the little bit of skills that you learned in paramedic school are not gonna be used, right? So I was lucky enough when I was going to paramedic school, I was working in a really bad high crime area. So I got a lot of at-bats while I was in school, a lot of IVs. I got to do stuff while I was actually there learning. You're not gonna have that, right? You're gonna be doing cop calls, running cop calls. That's what, actually, you're probably gonna be on a team. If you're a full-time team, or if you're a pool concept and you're doing regular police calls, and then you roll with the team whenever they get activated. Okay, so you're not going to have that experience set. Okay, it would take the department to institute a very robust continuing medical training. Okay, somehow, and I could see that maybe being okay, we're really busy. I can't let this guy go on the team. Maybe you go once a month. You go once a month and you ride on a rescue, right? And we all know how that works, right? Because we all experienced it when we were going through EMT and paramedic. You go and ride on a rig for 12 hours, nothing happens. Chest pain, difficulty breathing, boo-boo calls, and you might get a trauma and a crash or something, but not the GSWs and the stuff that you need practice on, right? So maybe they set you up at the trauma center, and depending where you live and work, that trauma center may or may not be busy. And it may just be like, we get doctors over here that come fly with us all the time, and they'll be here for 12 hours and nothing happens. And we tell them, oh, hey, thanks for, giving us the white cloud for 12 hours. And then the minute they leave, we get a triple shooting. It's just Murphy. And that's the way it is, right? So yes, you can do it. And yes, the department can do it. I'm just trying to show you all the things that you need. LA County, Special Enforcement Bureau, those guys are cops. They send them to paramedic school, and then they have them ride on their SEB air rescue asset, and they do hoist and they do medical treatment and they do all kinds of awesome stuff like we do here. But they're Leos, right? They're cops. and they're riding along there and they're keeping their chops up, right? So yes, it can be done. There's just more to it than just going through paramedic school and getting that certificate, all right? So this weekend is Memorial Day weekend. So I hope that you guys in America are remembering that if you're floating around a pool and knocking some back and having some burgers, you're remembering the reason why we have this weekend, and that you take a moment, okay, to thank those that gave the ultimate sacrifice for our country. And until next time, stay frosty. Happy Memorial Day. God bless. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.